What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Under Further Review. And today, man, we have a very, very special guest. I know we say that every week, but we really do have a very special guest today.
Yes.
One of my good friends and most interesting man in the world, I like to call him, Mr. Anthony Gilbert. Man, this dude is, on Under Further Review, we like to highlight entrepreneurs and people that are creators, and he really embodies this, man. This dude is a creator, a content creator, a journalist, a clothing brand owner and an ambassador, co-founder of Soul Collector. This dude worked for the NBA. He's done just a ton of things, man. So we're excited to kind of get his perspective and talk to him. And I know, Chris, you know that I'm a hooper. Yeah. So like this gonna be a great combo.
You know I am too.
Oh, that's right. That's right. He a hooper, dog.
No, I'm not.
You see him, AG? But nah, man, we appreciate you joining us, man. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good, man. Bam and Chris, thanks for having me. And you know, I hoop too. And whenever the football players get on the court, it's time to leave.
Yeah. You said it's time for you to leave. You the finesse guy, huh? You don't want no parts of that contact. We come with the contact.
Yeah.
That's funny. That's funny. But no, man, we want before we dive into it, bro, and talk about the NBA or talk about just a lot of the stuff that you're doing, bro. I kind of want to go back to our backgrounds. I mean, obviously, you are a journalist. You've been doing it for a very long time, bro, and that's something that's super intriguing. And we want to kind of tap into that early. And like we said, if y'all don't know, when I was in Philly playing for the Eagles, me and AG linked up, man. And at that time, you were working for Nike. You were doing some things with Nike and your brand. Not even know if you were really doing the journalist stuff at the time, but now you knee deep in it and doing a lot of big things in it. So tell me like how that started initially for you, like the journalism part or just incorporating that into everything that you're doing.
Yeah, so once upon a time when I was a kid, I wanted to be like y'all. You know, the goal was to do well in school, grade school, high school, and then get a college scholarship. And I didn't care what it was, football or basketball. I wasn't great at either sport, but I loved it. So I got to a point, probably about 10th grade, and I realized, like, you know what? This ain't gonna happen. I'm glad I figured it out early enough, and I was able to pivot. And one of my favorite shows was NBA Inside Stuff, and I used to love watching that show. Yeah. And the Ahmad Rashad, he would walk in and say, "My main man," and I was like, you know what? That's it.
Yeah,
I'm still gonna get there. And that's the route I'm going to take. But just not knowing, you know, I was the first in my family to go to college and not really knowing that there was resources out there to help you in journalism and to get you internships and open doors. I just kind of started figuring stuff out on my own. So I first went the route of front office. So I did my internship with the New York Knicks and the New York Liberty of the WNBA. And then I went straight to the NBA headquarters because it was like, I'm right there.
Yeah.
And then after 2 years at the league office, that's when I got down with Slam. And they were talking about this high school kid named Lebron James. And I was like, okay, let's do this, you know? So it's been a blessing for sure. And, you know, there's times where, you know, life happens and you have other obligations, or you might be tired or you didn't eat yet, but you get to do what you love. And then you remember those things. Like, you know what, since you was a little one, you always wanted to do this. So, you know, those are the type of things that keeps me going.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Now, I love that, man. Like, it's clear, like you were able to kind of be realistic with yourself and make a decision that made an impact on his trajectory from that point forward. Like, we joked that I used to be a hooper, but I really was. Like, my grandma used to call me Baby Shaq, and I was like the same size I am now in the 7th grade.
When you were 11, right?
Yeah. So I was balling, but I also developed something called Osgood-Slaughter's disease in middle school, and basically like the ligaments in your joints and stuff. Like I was always in pain in my knees and in my elbows, my wrists. It was always an issue, and I decided to kind of let football be the main thing and let basketball end.
Yeah.
And that was so difficult for me to let that go. But if I didn't do that, I would have never reached where I wound up reaching. And same thing with you, AG. It seems like you were able to kind of do a personal self-evaluation and say, man, I love this, but this may not be the best route for me. How can I adjust this and create a new dream, you know? So that's super dope. And you were there, it seemed like right around kind of the glory days of really NBA media, like Inside Stuff. Slam Magazine was at its peak. This was probably when ESPN was probably at its peak as well.
Yeah.
Like, what kind of made you hone in on, like, I want to do journalism for Slam, I want to do it for the NBA versus, like, maybe even football stuff? Because I know you mentioned that you love football as well. Like, what made you kind of hone in on that in particular?
No, I think that's a great question. So, honestly, it was just being prepared and opportunity just kind of knocking, you know? So Slam wanted to do a feature on a guy that played high school ball in Philly. And he was doing his 1 year at prep so that he could go to college to get his grades right. And I met some people at Slam, and they're like, oh, you grew up in Philly, right? And I was like, yeah. And they were like, do you know Maurice Rice? And I was like, I know who he is. And they were like, okay, cool. We think we want you to write something on him because we remember that you were at that game when LeBron and St. Vincent St. Mary played Strawberry Mansion against Maurice Rice. I took some pictures and I noticed that LeBron was wearing Nike and his team was wearing the Adidas Pro Model shoe. So I took those pictures and I took some pictures of LeBron in like the interview room. And this is December 2002. So websites weren't as intricate as they are. And I just remember sending my photos in of LeBron. They put them on the website and I just got this feeling like, man, like I did that. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And then from there, that relationship was already built. And then they were like, hey, well, now Maurice is playing prep. Can you write something about him? That was my first story and I never looked back. But Chris, I want to tell you something else. See if I can get in your good graces a little further.
Yeah.
When I was in college, living on the 5th floor of Johnson and Hardwick dormitory on Broad and Diamond, I was cutting everybody's hair. Everybody.
Okay. Yeah. Illegally. He might not. You probably had a license, didn't you?
Nah, he had no license.
He had no license.
$5 a cut. I was the last one to show up to whatever the function was that night because I was getting everybody straight, cutting hair.
Money.
You know what I'm saying? Getting my paper right. I walk in, the DJ shouting me out. You know what I'm saying? But that was a thing that I had. And then there was a rival barber right around the corner, and he was on the men's basketball team. So whoever he couldn't get to would flow over to me because I didn't close my door. Like, come on. Like, you're good. Oh, where you from? Oh, okay, yeah, I know y'all like that ball fade down south. Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I was doing it like that.
Keep the ball fade. That's crazy. And I think that's kind of like encompassing to you, bro. You are like a jack of all trades and you're always open to doing new things, bro. And that's, I mean, really, like that's why you're so successful at everything that you do because you're not afraid to try it. And but I wanted to ask, like, I mean, you just doing the things that you've tried and been successful at, you've created like such amazing relationships in the NBA. I mean, you've been able to interview and talk and build relationships with so many people. And, you know, me being in Philly, feeling like that's my second home. And I know you went to Temple, you a Philly boy. I wanted to kind of talk to you about like the relationship maybe you ever established with Kobe. Is there like a story or maybe one of the, a memory of him that you can kind of give us just with that connection? Because you know, that was something that I always wanted to do in Philly is meet Kobe if he ever came to Philly. But like you being from there, you actually got to be integrated in that system and in that relationship. So what you got if you have anything?
Yeah, sure. So how we met, I liked his older sister, to be honest.
Oh man,
That's how deep it goes. When I tell you, this is the most interesting man in the world.
Right. Yeah.
So she was at Temple University. She's on a volleyball team. And I say all this respectfully, you know, we're still great friends today. She's married. She has her family. You know, everybody knows the story, you know, from our circle. So here I am looking at this 5'9", you know, tall glass of water, and I'm like, wait a minute, let me see, you know, we'll grab some pizza or something. And she's like, no, you know, nice to meet you, no. And I'm like, okay, you know, I play ball, you know. And she's like, no, like you probably couldn't even beat my little brother. And I'm like,
wow, man.
What you say back?
Yeah, right. I gotta know what you get to say back.
Your little brother, like, yo, tell your little brother he get this work. So I was working for the volleyball team. So that was my first sports job, working for, her name is Sharia Bryant. So working for Sharia Bryant's volleyball team, obviously she's the star, right?
Right.
Kobe's oldest sister. She's a star. Yeah. So her family used to come to like all the games. Her parents, her siblings, her grandparents, cousins. It was a big family affair. And the next game, he grabs a volleyball. He's about 6'4", and he's about 15. And he grabs a volleyball, and he's looking at me like, I heard you could beat me. And I'm like,
oh man,
what? And he's like, I'm Kobe. I'm Sharia's younger brother. Like, let's go in the auxiliary gym. Like, we could do it right now. And I'm like, whoa, wait, hold on. I never said anything like that, brother. Like, hold on a second. And he was serious. I actually had to like do some serious backpedaling and get her like, hey, look, now you know I wouldn't even trip. Like,
that's funny. That's crazy.
Wow. So from there,
he was ready.
We became, you know, solid friends. And this is right. He's a sophomore, so he's about to blow up. And just to see that progression, just to be with him in these different moments and watch him grow, was just mind-boggling. And then I'm still in college. He goes to the league, and I'm like, wait, what? Like,
wow.
Wait a minute. You know what I mean? So,
he was just 15, and that's crazy.
Yeah. Now he's in the league, and I'm like, this is nuts. Like, oh, so, you know, as I grew and I got into journalism, and then as his stature grew and he won 3 championships and all-star games and all this stuff, he started inviting me in. Like, I'm like, yo, Kobe, I need to ask you a couple of questions. He's like, what's up? Come on, let's do it. Like, I would never forget his answer. He would kind of like pause at me sometimes and be like, all right, let's do it. And I'll be sitting, and this man, 03, 04, 05, 06, like this man's at the top.
Yes.
He's the apex, you know, of his game. And like, he's like, yeah, let's do it. And I'm just trying things. One of the things, and Bam, you know me. So like one of the things, I'm always looking at a situation like, all right, let's go this way. Everybody else is going this way. Let's go this way. So the walk from the visitors' locker room to the team bus in DC, that's a nice stretch. So I would get athletes like, hey, can I ask you a couple questions? And they'd be like, sure. And I had a buddy, he had a little camera, and he would be walking backwards, and we would walk towards him to the team bus, and we would walk and talk and that was like right before video really took over.
Right.
You know, the industry changed. You know, it was newspapers, magazines, And then like Twitter and video just changed everything. And I was like right there on the cusp, like 2008, 2009, doing these things. And Kobe was one of those persons that was like, all right, come on.
Yeah.
You know? So that relationship was, oh man, like being down at the finals with him in 2009 and him trying to act like he didn't know me. I'm in the media pool, and those are on TV. Those are live feeds.
Yeah.
You know, so they're like, okay, let's go to the press conference. And then I'm like, holding the microphone, like, hey, Anthony Gilbert, Slam Magazine. Kobe, let me ask you. And he's looking at me like,
yeah.
But then I know him. So I know what to ask. So then he like blossoms and opens up, and then you get an answer that like no one would have ever heard, you know, unless somebody, you know, asked it the right way.
That's dope. So he was really respecting you as a journalist. He was viewing you in that journalist role instead of the homeboy, even from back in the day. To see that's Mamba right
solid.
there.
There was one time he actually broke character, and I went out there his final season. It was maybe like 12 games left, and they played the Warriors. So this was 2016.
Yeah.
So it's the Warriors. It's 2016. I'm coming to that game in LA. So I go there, and I don't know what to get Kobe as a gift. Like, hey man, 20 years, man. Like, I got you something. So in Philly, we have a snack food brand called Tasty Cake. And I bought like 5 boxes of the family size, like just different varieties. And I'm like carrying them on the plane. And the flight attendants are like, oh, okay, you're going to share today? And I'm like, no, I'm not sharing. But I had given them to his sister, and I'm in the press conference after the game. And this is like, you know, countdown, final farewell. And he looks over, and I'm in the front row, and he's like, yo, man, don't go nowhere. I'm like, what? He's like, don't go anywhere. I heard you bought Tasty Cakes. And I'm like, I did. Just no, this ain't about none of that. Go ahead, man. Go ahead and do your press conference.
Right.
Yeah.
That's funny, dog.
Wow, that is crazy, man. Like, to have that kind of relationship with someone who really was a living legend.
Yeah.
You know, rest in peace, Kobe, man. Like, it's so tragic, like how all that played out. But it's cool to just kind of hear your perspective of someone who's known him personally, that he seemed to be the same person in front of the camera, on the court, as he was away from the camera and outside of all of that. So it's beautiful, man. Like, we respect him. We got the Mamba Mentality book right back here in the back, man, because we try to embody some of the gems that Kobe left us while he was here. And, you know, I really wanted to ask, because you hit on this a little bit, AG, just about kind of you being on a little bit of the cutting edge when it came to video and doing that within journalism. And I did some research on you. I looked up your LinkedIn. Like, that's always my go-to stalk place. And I saw that you have a lot of intertwining and mingling with technology with your background. So I gotta ask you, like, how do you think technology has changed or impacted the way that you do journalism? But also, how do you think technology has changed or impacted the way that the game of basketball or the game of football or really athletics in general is played?
Yeah, I think that's a great question, Chris. It's definitely changed the way I go to the games. I used to have a bag, and it had a laptop computer. It had a tape recorder, so I could, you know, get my interview. I had pens, extra pens, paper, like a notebook, a video camera, a film camera or digital, batteries just in case, because you know, like 2 packs of gum, because we speak to people for a living,
That's right. Keep the mints in the pocket. That's
right.
Yeah.
That's
I
right.
had an intern. I said, let me tell you something, brother. I said, your job is to make sure I always have fresh breath. He's like, okay. So shout out to my homie Marcus Appeline. And then let me see what else was in that bag. Probably something relevant to the subject matter. So either the team or the athlete, just something that I could refer to really quickly in the moment.
Tasty cake.
So that
tasty cake.
Tasty cake. Yeah. Gotta have that. So now I go to the games with just my phone and maybe a charger. But sometimes I'm just too good to carry a charger. I'm like, nope, I got my phone. I'm good. And usually I might have like a pen, and I'll just grab some paper while I'm in the media room. So how I prepare and how I travel is totally different, but how it's changed the game of football. I think it, and this is just me outside looking in, I think technology has helped football in the sense of like better equipment, better analysis of injuries, better prevention. It's difficult. Football, somebody's gonna get hurt. I told people in retrospect to the Philadelphia Eagles and what they're doing, signing Joe Flacco. I'm like, look, it looks good. But just so y'all know, he's going to play at some point next season. That's what football, that's what probability tells us. He's going to get on the field.
Yep. That's real. 100% injury rate.
Yeah.
Right. You might not want him out there. He's going to play.
Yeah. Right. Right.
Yep. Now as far as the X's and O's, today's game is more of a passing game. So both of you guys' role on the field is essential. Chris, you need to block and protect.
Right.
Bam, you out there trying to intercept the ball and deflect and get 6. You know what I'm saying? So
trying to get 6.
Right. It's a passing game. But I don't know if it's really seeped in as far as like an analytics. It could be on the way, but I don't think it's fully gotten there. The NFL and the NCAA are putting their money into throwing the ball right now. So we'll see. Yeah. As far as basketball, y'all both know the game is not the same.
That's right.
Yeah. Analytics
is everything now. Yep. Yeah. That's really what I wanted to ask you, bro. Just like how you've been really from a couple of decades, like you've seen the game change. You've been in the locker rooms, you've been on the court, you've seen it change. Like, how has the game changed the most to you? And then secondly, I wanted to ask what your thought process is on like amateurs in the game, right? Like the rule might be coming where dudes can go to the league from high school again. Like, do you think that that's something that absolutely needs to come back? Because you really like see it every day. You think dudes are ready for that because technology's changed? Dudes are more advanced now. Are they ready from day one?
Yeah, so I'd say for me, like I'm able to identify what an NBA player looks like probably as young as 6 or 7 years old.
Really?
Wow.
Tap into that a little bit.
Yeah, so the last one I was able to say, you know what? He's going to the league. Jalen Brunson, 2-time national champion at Villanova, and current player for point guard for the Dallas Mavericks.
Yeah. Even with his height, how tall was he back then?
So he was about maybe almost 4 feet tall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was, because he ain't the tallest dude now.
Right. He's about 6'2", maybe 6'3" now. But when he was about 6 years old, he was maybe about like 3'9", something like that. But he had a lot of heart and he was able to back it up on the court. So I noticed he was playing up. And I was like, okay, he's handling against 9 and 10 years old.
Yeah.
Okay, like I've seen this before. Okay. But what happened was one day he challenged me. And he said, hey, hey coach, I need you to come on out here real quick. I said, for what? He said, I need to get on this court with you, check it up. And I was like, well, first of all, the game goes to 3. Everything is 1. It's your ball. I don't have time. Like, we're not doing this. Because when you play kids, the game is 2 hours long. Because
right, they can run all day, bro.
Yeah, because like A, it takes forever to get to 12. B, they're missing a lot of shots. Like, no, we're not doing this. So everything's 1. We going to 3. So I said, your ball. He said, no, shoot for first. All right, well, go on foul line, shoot for first. He's like, no, I'm shooting from 3. So I'm like, all right, go and shoot the 3, check it up, because you're going to miss it. He misses.
Yeah.
He checks it up. I say, look, I'm going right elbow. I'm taking 2 dribbles, I'm going right elbow. He's like, all right, 2 dribbles, right elbow, cash money. I said, all right, I'm taking 2 dribbles, I'm going left elbow. He's like, okay, 2 dribbles, cash. I said, all right, this game's over. I'm going right back over here. He checks it up, and he says, you better not miss. What?
Yeah.
I miss it. I miss.
Yeah.
He grabs the rebound. He brings it back past the foul line. He's left-handed. He starts stutter stepping me. I'm like, what? I had to actually get in a real defensive stance and guard a 6-year-old. And I said, you know what? He's going to the league.
Yeah. He on the way.
I was like, I never saw anything like it. And
that's funny.
I pulled his father aside, who played for Coach Chaney at Temple University. And I said, hey, Rick, let me tell you something, man. Jalen is nice, man. He said, nah, I don't want to hear that. I said, oh, so you know. Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Never mind. Your secret is safe with me.
Yeah.
I said, because you know. You talking about, nah. You know. All right, so I'm not going to say nothing.
That's the mindset you got. Exactly.
I said, but I am going to watch him, though. I said, I'm going to be hovering over y'all. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of talented kids. But when you see a culmination of skill set and mindset, and the only other person I saw that with was Kobe. So it's so rare. So I saw it in 94 and then I saw it in 2004. It's so rare. You know it when you see it. And I haven't seen it since. Because people call me all the time. Hey, I need to send you this film. My son, my daughter, like, I think they got a shot. And I'm like, hey, look, at this point, let's just make sure that they learn the game and that they're having fun.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because y'all know by the time they get to college, they might quit because they've been playing since forever.
That's real.
You know, we've all had teammates that were talented and be like, man, I can't even do this no more, man.
Absolutely.
Right.
And burnout is real. Unless you got that extra edge, you really do got to, you got to have it mentally, like you said.
Yeah.
No question.
Yeah. So like, as far as the technology goes, it's changed the game so much so that like, normal, like everyday basketball nuances are like eroding at a rapid rate. So there was a clip going on Twitter maybe like 2 weeks ago, and it was like, hey, watch this. And it was an NBA game. I forget which team it was. And it was a 3-on-1 fast break. And everybody stopped at like the 3-point line.
3-point line.
And the guy that had the ball shot it and missed it. Like, what? A 3-on-1?
Yeah.
Right.
I used to make all my money going as deep in the paint as possible, acting like I'm going to drive, pulling up or dishing the rock.
Yeah.
Right.
We're going to score either way.
Yeah.
I'm either going to pull up and shoot like a 4-foot jump shot, or I'm going to dish it off real quick to the person that's cutting to the basket.
Do you think that You think that part of the game will ever come back? Like right now, it's a 3-point game, right? Like the game is completely changed. It's 3-point transition, fast. Do you think the game will ever get back to like a real fundamental, not really paint driven, but like it's a little bit more of a part of the game than it is now? Will big men actually become? I mean, it's positionless basketball now, obviously. Yeah. But do you think it'll ever get to a point? Because I feel like the game is done for dudes that like my height. You ain't got a chance to ever get back in there. Like it's over. It's over for you.
I mean, unless you if you can shoot, then
bro,
maybe.
They're developing NBA basketball in Africa. Once them dudes really,
that's true. Yeah.
Once them dudes really hit the league, it's over. It's over for us.
Well, Bam, in your defense, you can jump. So there's a place for you, and you can defend.
Right.
So there's a place for you. I don't know about somebody else, but like the game is cyclical. It's going to take some time. Yeah. It will come back. The front court will be great again. I don't know when.
Really? You think so? I don't know when.
Yeah. Well, I agree with you. It's going to take like and Chris, you probably might say this, but it's going to take a transformational player to kind of bring it back. Yep. You know what I mean? So if you get a Shaquille O'Neal, like a 1991 Shaquille O'Neal, or like a Wilt Chamberlain or Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
They ain't coming back, AG. I don't think they coming back. They all dribbling now. They all dribbling, shooting threes.
They haven't been born yet. They coming.
It's gonna be a minute.
But the game.
Zion, that's close you're gonna get.
Oh, right. The game does change. The game does change. Yes, I've seen it from when I first got in the locker room in 2000. When the Knicks were in the Eastern Conference Finals against the Indiana Pacers, which was crazy. Because I grew up in the 90s watching Knicks Pacers, and here I am right there at Madison Square Garden. Wow. And I'm like, this is nuts. There goes Larry Bird. There goes, because Larry was coaching. There goes Reggie Miller, the Davis brothers, like, Mark Jackson, Jalen Rose. This is crazy, right? Then on the other side, Patrick Ewing, Charles Oakley, like Allen Houston. This is like, I can't believe I'm here. So like, it changes. It changes. It'll have its ebb and its flow. We all know that college and the NFL has changed, but when you want to win, you run the ball, right? Like this is this is football, right? That's never going to go out of style. You can pass, I get it. That's the money maker, but we try to win this game.
Game on the line, you running it.
No, that's real.
The defense knows y'all running. The offensive line know what they got to do.
Right.
Everybody at home know what's going on.
I agree. Like I feel like it may require some type of rule changes. Like I think same thing with football. It may require some type of rule change. But I think when there's a transformational player, that's when it's a copycat league. Every league is a copycat league. Yeah. Wherever the new guy who's doing something that is unprecedented, people try to copy that. Like when you had MJ in his heyday, in his reign, everybody was, he might be the next MJ. Like you got to find a 6'6" wing who's athletic and can hit from the mid range and play defense. Yeah. And then LeBron come in, freak of nature, 6'8", 6'9". So they're just pulling dudes who don't even play basketball, trying to get another LeBron. Yeah. And then now with Steph, like he's shooting from 40 feet away. Yeah. So everybody's trying to copy. So I feel like all it's going to take is, like you said, like a new guy who's, I don't know, he might be from Africa, he might be here in Atlanta, come out and be Shaq 2.0, and everybody be like, we need one of those. Like, we need to copy that. So I agree with you for sure. But no, I wanted to ask you this. I know we're trying to like not go too long on time, but I know with your time as an editor for Slam, I just got to get your perspective, man. Like those are, like, I loved reading the Slam magazine, reading, Sports Illustrated for kids, all that kind of stuff growing up. And I got to ask you, like, there's been so many iconic Slam magazine covers. what is your like number one? Like, which one would you say is the best Slam magazine cover that's ever come out?
That's easy. That's easy. My favorite is I call it the Lord of the Rings. Kobe's on the cover. Y'all know I was gonna say Kobe.
Yeah.
Y'all knew that.
Knew you was gonna say
that.
Yeah. Kobe's on the cover. They have the black Laker uniforms and the three-peat championship.
Yeah.
And he's just standing there like, oh, I love that cover.
Yeah.
That cold,
that one is hard.
Yeah.
That's cold.
That
I would say for that one is dope. For me, I had like two that were tied. And this might just be because of nostalgia. Mine is the one with AI with
that's what I was gonna say
with the blowout with the blowout pro, and then number 2 was that '96 draft class cover that had like Kobe and Marcus Camby and Steve Nash, et cetera, on that one. I felt like that was
a really good one. I might have to put that one as my second one. We just over the summer we did like a '96 draft like retrospective. So. What we did was we kind of unpacked that issue and talked about the stories that like made that issue come to be. So we talked about the photo shoot and how that came together. Talked about why Allen Iverson wasn't on that cover. I did a story about Kobe through his high school years and like how he came to be, which was easy because I was there.
Right.
So yeah, we had fun with that one, man. I like that. I like both of those picks. My sister,
I thought for sure you was gonna say
Iverson.
I thought you was gonna say that Iverson.
Me too. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Just the Philly connection for real. But like Chris said, we don't want to run too long on your time. But
go ahead.
We got to ask you.
You know, I've been researching y'all too, so I got
you.
Go ahead.
You just got so much we got to unpack, bro. You literally are the most interesting man in the world.
Yeah.
So with that being said, you are the co-founder of Soul Collect. Talk to us about that, because like we talk about iconic sneakers, and we both sneakerheads and we love sports, but you like are living in all of these worlds simultaneously.
Right.
So like how did that come about, bro? And like tell me about that. What's going on with it?
Yeah. So it's funny you asked that, because I just started kind of like, you know how you do things and then sometimes you forget and you're like, oh yeah, I did do that. So I was like, you know what? I need to like let people know. Cause like sometimes I talk about shoes and people be like, oh wow, you really know your stuff.
Really know,
like, I'm like, well, wait a minute. I should know my hold up, time out. Y'all don't know who I am.
Y'all don't you don't know who we talking to.
So I started putting it like in my bio, co-founder, So Collective Magazine. So one day I was just kind of on the internet, and I used to be big on the website Nike Talk. I used to go on Nike Talk and read like what people were saying about shoes and where to buy them and what shoe was coming out. And this is maybe like 2001. And then I found another website, which is like closely related to Nike Talk, which was called In Style Shoes. And In Style Shoes had like a message board, but then they also had like rare and hard to find shoes that you could buy. So of course I had my little wish list. I wasn't buying nothing. But one day there was a thread on there, and it was like, do you think there's a need for a sneaker magazine? And I was like, what?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like, what kind of question is that? And then I told the moderator, like, by the way, I write for Slam. And they're like, okay, well, wait, how can we contact you? And they contacted me and was like, hey, like, this isn't just an idea. Like, we really want to do this. And I was like, well, if you want to do a sneaker magazine, you can't leave the element of sports out of it. You can't.
Right.
That's how half of us got involved with loving shoes in the first place, right?
Yeah.
Especially if you hoop, track and field, football. Like, there's so many shoes, you know? So they were like, okay. So like right off top, they were like, you're in. And I was like, oh, I was young. I didn't have a lawyer or anything like that. Now, you want to work with me, you got to talk to her. Like, I have a lawyer.
Yeah.
Right.
All paperwork is going here. I'm the talent. But
Yeah.
I just jumped on board, and I was able to do things for people that look like us. You know what I'm saying? I was representing a silo of the Black experience through footwear. And I wrote that way. We worked with athletes that could also articulate that story. I wanted to just make sure that, like, hey, if I read this magazine in the barbershop, it has to stick.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, I living in Philly, I also lived in New York City. I would ride the subway system, and I would have Soul Collector magazines, like early issues, issue 2, issue 3, and I would just like take them and put them on the seat across from me, and just sit there and just ride the subway system and watch people get on and be like, yo, what is this? Yo, look at this stuff.
Yeah.
And I would sit there like, I would be taking my mental notes like, it works in this neighborhood. Let's ride to the next neighborhood over. And you know what I'm saying? And then I would take it to the barber shop, and the barber would tell me like, yo, dog, like I need another one. Like, people keep stealing them. And I'm like, oh, okay. All right, cool. Yeah. So I'll go back to the team like, keep doing what you're doing. And I'm still going to focus on these folks, because footwear, fashion, trends, slang, it all comes from our community. So
that's right.
Keep doing what you're doing, because there's a market for it. But I got to make sure I keep getting this part right. And it was a thing of beauty to really build that magazine. And when I left, I didn't leave on bad terms. I just started getting pulled to do so many things. I was doing ESPN. I was doing film. I was consulting. I was writing Nike commercials and Converse commercials. Like, I was getting pulled in so many directions. So I just was like, hey, I'm here, and just let me know when you need me.
Right.
And that's where you need a lawyer, because they sold it and I got nothing.
Man.
And you were the one that created it and brought it to where it is. But like you're so creative, bro, that it'll come back around, and you know that.
Yeah. And those experiences are necessary, right? Because that's how you grow.
Yeah.
You know what
that's
I'm saying?
real. That's real. So, the people who are watching, they can learn from that. Like, when you're in those moments of like creating something from the ground up, it's important to have your stuff together for sure. I gotta ask you though, man, all of us sneakerheads, like Brandon said, I gotta figure out, like, what's your grail? Like, what's the shoe that you either gotta have or you already have that you probably don't even wear? Like, what's the grail for you?
Well, I try to wear like all of them, and I recently just got it's crazy, as I have the shoe on right now. Let me see if I could slip it off real quick. It's nothing sexy.
It's about to be something crazy.
Hey, I know.
When I was in Philly, AG used to send me packages to my crib, bro, and it'll be stuff I have never seen in my life.
Man.
And that's really one of the things I miss, bro. Yeah. He used to send me heat. So I'm eager to see what you about to show us.
He's sitting the friends and family pack. Like,
it's more nostalgia and less like rare.
Now, less hype beast.
I do have my rare. Like, I have a pair of Zoom Kobe 1 stash edition, and the upper is like a varsity jacket. It's like that like varsity jacket wool, and then it has like on the medial side, it has like gold embroidery, like stitching of like career accomplishments, like 81 games, 81 points in the game. Like that is something that like is like,
that sounds crazy.
I love that shoe. And it came with like a destroyer, like varsity jacket. you know, had like the 24 on the arm and like the Kobe symbol. I have it. It's at the top of the list for sure. But this shoe, this is from 91. This is the
Reebok. Is that the pump?
Okay.
Yeah. So as a little boy, this goes back to why I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm watching that dunk contest. Sean Kemp is supposed to win this dunk contest, hands down.
Right.
And D Brown gets out there and he's pumping up his shoe, and I'm like, I'm in. I'm all in. And I'm like, my brother was in the armed forces at the time, and he bought me the white ones, and I was like, but like you couldn't find the black ones nowhere, and like here we are 30 years later, and I finally got them. So the little boy in me loves that shoe. You know what I mean? So like to be able to come full circle, that's what I love about like the retros now. I could get my hands on all the shoes my parents said no to. You know?
Exactly.
We talk about that all the time.
But like a shoe that I'm really like looking for, man.
You got
one. Well, no, I don't. I'm looking for the original colorway of the Air Max 96. I got 95s. I got 97s. The 96 is kind of like that outlier. And I would love to find an original. But if not, maybe, you know, Nike or retro.
It's only right. I mean, Air Max Day was what, like a day ago?
Yesterday.
Now, I wanted to say something to y'all really quickly. I was watching the episode, and forgive me, I just subscribed. I thought I had subscribed already because I've been watching y'all. But I looked and I was like, oh, I'm not even subscribed. So I'm subscribed.
Appreciate that.
You wanted, I don't know, of course, college athletes should be paid. Here's why. Y'all put your body on the line. That's your job. Your job involves you walking, running, talking, communicating, seeing, hearing. Like, that's what people who say no don't understand. You have to put your whole being out there at practice, sometimes spring ball, and during the games. Like, especially football. Come on, all the money that football makes, come on, man. Of course y'all should get paid. And then like on the flip side, like who actually missed out? I'm gonna go Shamiqua Holesclaw.
That's a good one.
She was man. And I'm gonna go Skylar Diggins.
Okay.
I think we touched on that a little bit.
Yeah, you did. But then I gotta go with Vincent Bo Jackson.
You know, man, you know what? After the fact, that was the one that came to mind. Like, dang, I should have said Bo Jackson.
No question.
That's That's
man. Cause man.
Hey, we might have to talk about that when we come on your IG for sure.
For real.
And actually, pub that real quick. AG does an IG live, man. He has a ton of amazing guests on there with a lot of great conversation. So just kind of pub it, bro, and tell us what you got going on there.
Thank you, man. So it's called The Knowledge of Self. Because of COVID, I kind of looked around and was like, you know what? Where are the angles? Like, where can I do something? Where can I take some of this creativity and this energy and put it into something? I was going to, I remember texting you. I remember hitting you about Clubhouse. So I was thinking, you know what? We're going to do it on Clubhouse. That's where we're going to do it. And then one of my OGs, we all need an OG. You know what I'm saying? One of my OGs was like, nah, that's not for you, man. I said, well, why not? And he's like, nah. He said, people need to see you, man. I said, okay. He said, He said, you do it either on IG or on YouTube. He said, me, I'm Clubhouse. He said, you get in front of that camera. I said, okay, man, I appreciate you. So he calls me like every other week And I could just hear him smiling on the other end. He's like, yeah, man, I see you. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I see you.
Yeah.
I'm like, I appreciate you, brother. Thank you, man. He's like, no, just doing my job. Just doing my
That's
job.
dope.
You keep it up.
That's
You know,
dope.
so I'm thankful, man. And Georgia's been representing real nice on there for me. I had Lexi Brown, D Brown's daughter. And then we just had Taylor Rooks. And I had to hit both of those sisters in advance. Like, listen, do you want me to turn the comments off?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it's some people out here that don't play by the rules now. And
you run the risk when you on that IG live, boy.
For real.
Yeah,
That's
man.
funny.
But I was they both, God bless both of those sisters. They was like, nah, let's roll with it. And I was like, okay.
Yeah. That's dope. We definitely gotta tap in with y'all, man, and
no question.
Make sure y'all check it out. Everybody that's watching and listening. But we'll put that in our link for sure, bro, and talk about it. But I know we're running low on time. But before you go, brother, we are definitely fixing to hit you on something called 2 for 68. I don't know if you've seen it yet, but I was number 2 at Georgia. Chris was number 68. So the two of us ask you questions for 68 seconds. Now these questions are gonna be, you gotta answer them basically.
Yeah.
And no matter how hard they are. So it's gonna be rapid fire.
Yeah, you're on the hot seat, AG.
You're on the hot seat. So are you ready for 2 for 68, AG?
Yes, sir.
All right, starting now. If you could have one superpower, what would that be?
Mind reading.
We ain't got that one before. That's a good one.
I know. Yeah. All right. Eagles, Phillies, or Sixers?
Eagles.
Oh, okay. AI or MJ?
MJ.
Okay.
Yeah, I like it. Who was your hero?
My dad and Randall Cunningham.
Dope answer. Best college basketball player you've ever seen?
That I've seen play, I'm probably gonna go with Frosty, aka Mr. Lynn Bias.
Okay. Okay.
Wow, yeah, I like it. I gotta ask you this. Everybody probably asked you this already. Who's the GOAT?
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Okay.
My dog is a basketball savant. He's not gonna give us just. I'm messing up in 68 seconds though. All right, you got to choose one. Never watch basketball again or never write again.
Never watch basketball again.
Oh,
wow. Okay.
And that, my friends, is why he is a true journalist.
Yes.
Congratulations, brother. You survived 2 for 68.
Thank you.
Man, this has been a very dope conversation, bro. I feel like it's been a lot of substance in here, a lot of knowledge just about the game. I feel like we could even do a part 2 about this for real. Just talk to AG for hours. So we definitely got to do it again, bro, and talk more in depth.
So many things we didn't get to hit on. I had like another 5 questions we could have asked. No question.
Well, go on, ask
amazing.
one, Chris. Just go on, ask one.
Yeah.
Close this out. Bring us home. Bring us home.
Yeah, we got to do a part 2. No question.
We'll do a part 2.
We got to do a part 2. We'll do it for sure.
For sure. Yeah.
But no, thank you, AG. Yeah, thank you for joining us. And thank you to all of you who are on YouTube watching this and listening to us as well on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. If you're watching on YouTube, you know the deal. Leave a comment down in the bottom. What's something that stood out to you? Also, let us know what was your Grail shoe and maybe what was the best season of basketball in your experience. You got to get some communication going down there. We love to kind of get y'all's thoughts. But also subscribe, hit the notification bell. We'll see y'all in the next one.